We spend a full 1/3 of our lives sleeping. That means if you live to be 90, you spent 30 years asleep. Well, I got to interview one of my favorite living Christian thinkers. He's a Gospel Coalition editor. He's the author of many, many leather-bound books. And I got to talk to him about his brand new book, The Wisdom of Sleep, and that is Brett McCracken. This episode, we're going to dive into why a third of our lives spent essentially catatonic. What's the meaning of sleep? What's the latest science of sleep? How does sleep point us to the gospel? How does sleeping point us to the sovereignty of God? How does sleeping tear down the idol of self? So step into the shed and beam and add a little meaning to your day. All right, I'm here with a dear friend, ministry compadre, Brett McCracken. Welcome to the shed.
Thank you, sir. It's great to be here.
A little sweltering heat today.
It is a hot day outside.
And it's a summer day. I think my car said 97.
Yeah,
or something like that. So we're donning our shorts and our matching flip flops.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
We're the SoCal kind of bro aesthetic, I think.
Yeah, this wasn't even planned, but we'll make it into an ad for Rainbow.
Can we get a sponsorship?
Yeah, Rainbow sponsor us.
Yes.
So you have cranked out how many books total now?
6 if you count Scrolling Ourselves to Death as like one of my books.
Okay.
It's an edited book, but
yeah, Scrolling Ourselves. Let's see which camera would pick that up right there-ish. Subtitled Reclaiming Life in a Digital Age. Give us like this 60-second elevator pitch, what you were up to at this one. And
well, you contributed to it. You have a chapter in there, which is awesome. It's basically taking Neil Postman's Amusing Ourselves to Death, classic, 1985. And then on the 40th anniversary year, which was 2025, we wanted to do something at TGC to like honor the significance of that book and how prescient it was with so much of how technology is changing our lives. So we thought, let's take the principles of Postman, thinking critically about media and technology, and apply it to the digital age.
I love it. And you got a great lineup here.
Yeah, we did.
Joe Carter's awesome. Sam James, Colin Hansen, Keith Plummer's rock solid. Nathan Finn, I got to meet him a couple weeks ago. Solid brother. We both are big Shane Morris fans.
Yes. Yeah.
He did use new media creatively but cautiously. Then there's this Brett McCracken guy. I don't know.
Release the McCracken.
Who that guy is.
Yeah.
Release the McCracken. So you got this one. The first times I was exposed to you was this guy right here. Uncomfortable. Give us the 60-second rundown on this gem.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick, is this the one where you start with your vision of an ideal church, and it's like got Kuiper in there and all that stuff? Just
it's got like
show them your dream church.
It's got like everything my heart would ever desire from a church. Like I think there's even like I mentioned like a artisan whiskey Scotch cabinet that like one of the pastoral staff has one key and can unlock, for special moments. But so I mean that book, I open it that way in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way to point out the ridiculousness of consumer Christianity.
Yeah.
So this is really just an attack on our Western individualistic consumer approach to Christianity, wanting it to suit me and all of my preferences and tastes and shopping around, which we even use that word, church shopping, unironically, which is telling. So that's what this book is about. It's kind of arguing for like growth happens actually when you go against that mentality and lean into being stretched and being around people that aren't your tastes and preferences to the T.
Yeah, I love that. So you have like hammocks somewhere?
I don't remember. It's been a long time. It was super fun to
like a bookstore of like the Theology.
There was a great bookstore, like a really bespoke coffee shop, like in the church.
And a huge thing for serving the community.
Yes, there was I think my ideal church had like a very like well-established community outreach ministry.
Yeah,
that, like would had dinners, with like farm to table cuisine. Like the staff were like rehabilitated prisoners or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
But
So
I remember the day I wrote that chapter, and it was just super fun because I was like, I told myself, like, give in to your most extreme like instincts.
Yeah.
So like, if you really could design your dream church, just go for it.
and
so
not
I went for
subverting it and being like,
Yes.
at the end of the day, it's not about the consumer mentality. It's about the tried and tested, love God, love people, important sacrament, all that.
Yes.
So now we're on to, there's several more.
Yeah.
We'd be here all day in the blazing Southern California heat. Yeah. This book, I want to recommend strongly to you. I had the opportunity to endorse The Wisdom of Sleep, how rest reveals God's truth and revives weary souls. I think my endorsement for it was, this book will put you to sleep, but in the best way possible.
Yeah.
It is anything. It is more of a page turner than my endorsement lets on, but you're helping Christians to recover a vision of sleep. And one of the reasons I loved it so much, and the reason I appreciate a lot of your work, is I see you taking Kuyper's vision, Lordship of Jesus over every square inch. So how do we not just understand theologically, but live out the Lordship of Jesus over music, the Lordship of Jesus over how you consume coffee,
right?
The Lordship of Jesus over how you scroll, the Lordship of Jesus in this over what we spend a third of our lives doing,
right?
So you say that if somebody lives 90 years, they've been asleep for 30 years. And so take us there. Why a book about sleep and expanding that Kuyperian vision of the Lordship of Jesus over all of life, this third of life? What inspired you to put the time into that?
Yeah, I think you're perceptive to kind of bring in Kuyper, because I approach culture and the arts through a Kuyperian lens. That's my day job, is arts and culture editor for TGC. And I've kind of made it my mission as a writer and a journalist to try to get Christians to look at more of life, not just what happens on Sunday, not just overly theological books and things. Look at all of life as an opportunity to worship God, as an opportunity to be grateful to him for what he made humans to be able to make as image bearers, which is what the arts is. It's image bearers of God doing what God does, being creative. And so I just think it feels like a waste of our time and our lives if we don't see everything as an opportunity to worship God. And sleep is a third of our life. And so what a missed opportunity if we don't like give God some mental attention in terms of like what sleep means and what a gift it is, and how we can practice our trust in him as we sleep, and how we can be reminded of grace and the gospel itself in sleep. So I think a lot of my mission as a writer is just try to probe the areas that are underexplored for Christians, and just to get people in a more expansive spirit of like, everything declares God's glory if you just have eyes to see.
Exactly.
And like, I've been really into science as a Christian, and I think it's been sad that for so long science and faith have been kind of pit against each other, because I look at science and what science is uncovering about the natural world, and for me it's like such an opportunity to like praise God and marvel at him. And
I love that.
And there's a lot of science in this book, which was super fun to explore.
So I've been working on a new manuscript. It'll ultimately be called Receiving the Spirit. It'll be the conclusion of my trilogy, Revering God, Reflecting the Son, Receiving the Spirit. And it just sent me down this beautiful rabbit hole that just keeps getting wider about the doctrine of common grace. And sitting behind you, those blue books, if anybody can see, that's over 2,000 pages.
There's a lot on common grace.
And that's only 3 volumes. I think there might even be a fourth. Like, we're talking well over 2,000 pages. And so it's got me thinking about Calvin makes multiple statements in the Institutes about a Christianity that doesn't embrace what we can learn thanks to God's common grace that he's gifted, not just to saving grace to the regenerate, but to all people. And if we don't who is it? Zwingli used the language of plundering the Egyptians. Herman Bavinck talks a lot about this.
Right.
That whole notion of actually using good science, good philosophy, good music, good literature, good coffee brewing, good culinary art, a good 5-star, perfectly grilled filet mignon, like using that as part of your spiritual life to expand your understanding of worship. And if the Westminster Catechism's right, that the chief end of man is glorify and enjoy God. Common grace is huge for the enjoyment of God. So you mentioned science.
Yes.
And I've always been fascinated, I'm sure you resonate with this, with times the best science that's dropping catches up to scripture.
Yeah.
And sometimes that takes a couple millennia.
Yeah.
But you think of like first words in the Bible, in the beginning.
Yeah.
It takes us to the 20th century to realize that there was a beginning.
There was a beginning. There's an emerging consensus that there had to have been a beginning.
Yeah. Matter, energy, space, and time.
Yeah.
The space-time theorem of general relativity.
Yeah.
Like there's so many examples of the most frequent biblical commands to yirah, to fear, to revere God. And lo and behold, in the field of positive psychology, there's the study of awe and showing that we thrive best when we're enraptured in something bigger, more interesting than ourselves.
Yes.
And so take us there with what's the science. I have a book here that you quote several times, Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams. This is by Matthew Walker, PhD. I know you quote this a lot, but bring us up to speed. What is the science that's been breaking in the last couple decades, and how is that slowly catching up to things Scripture's been saying for over 2,000 years?
And this book is super good. I highly recommend it, and it's super popular too. Like I talk to people, everyone has read Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep, which is great. But he basically summarizes like all the emerging science that basically, to sum it up, says sleep is the single best thing you can do for your health. Like good, regular sleep does so much. And every year there's new discoveries of like its relationship to this bodily system and this, potential disease that you can avoid having if you get good sleep.
Yeah.
And he does a great job making that case that good diet, very important, exercise, important. Those are not unimportant things.
Sure.
But you can grind it out at the gym all day, every day. You can
which I clearly do.
Yeah, right. We both clearly do. You can work on your, go from one Atkins diet to the caveman diet to whatever. You can do all of that. But if you're not getting a good night's sleep, if you're sacrificing sleep and kind of trying to get the bare minimum, it negates all of that, those positive effects.
Yeah.
Good sleep is such a linchpin of your overall health.
Yeah.
And it's really mind blowing. I found this book so mind blowing. And as a Christian, I think I say this in my book, Matthew Walker, I get the sense he wants to call it a miracle.
Yeah.
He wants to use that word, sleep is miraculous, what it does for us. But he can't because science can't use that language.
Yeah. But he's studying a signpost of transcendence.
But he's studying a signpost. And so as a Christian, the wisdom of sleep, my book, I kind of view as translating Walker in a theological vein in a way that points to the person Matthew Walker kind of wants to thank.
Yeah.
He wants to thank someone for the gift of this.
Yeah.
And it's weird to thank evolution. Thank you, evolution, for this beautiful restorative gift that you've given us in sleep.
Thank you, random mutations and natural selection and co-locations of atoms.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, survival of the fittest.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not satisfying. So, but it is satisfying to have a named person, God, to thank. And that's a big theme of my book is gratitude for what a gracious God who would give us this nightly restorative thing that we receive, we don't achieve. It's this, and that's where it kind of parallels gospel. You don't have to work at it. It's 8 hours where you receive kind of the greatest benefits.
Yeah.
All of your bodily systems are renewed. Your cognitive health is cleansed as you dream.
I think you said something the research on sleep used to be what does sleep do?
Yeah.
And the shift
What's
in
it
the
not
last
do?
couple of decades is there anything sleep
Yes.
doesn't help with?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that expansive. So,
Yes.
so connect the dots there. I love in the book, you talk about how, because it's a gift and can't be earned.
Yeah.
Take us through that. How if you try really hard to sleep,
Yes.
you end up staring at the ceiling until 3 a.m. So what is it being a gift? And maybe if you want to dive into Psalm 127, in there, show us the theology now that that predated the science.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of meditating on like sleep as a passive thing that you receive as a gift really unlocked a lot of like theological depths for me in terms of like the nature of our salvation, right? You can't earn your way to God's favor, right? You only can receive it. And the same is true of sleep. When you like try to hack your sleep too much and if you're thinking too much about like, I need to go to bed, it backfires, right? We all have had those experiences of like trying to micromanage your sleep and overthinking it. Sleep happens best when you work hard during the day, so your body's tired.
Yeah.
And this gets at God's beautiful design for the complementarity of working and sleeping, resting. Two great gifts, but they're at their best when they're in the best relationship. Right?
It's good.
So work hard, be tired, and then just lay down when you feel tired and drift into sleep. Surrender to it. Don't think too much about it. Don't fret about things, and receive the gift of it. And it's a beautiful image of just our spiritual salvation and just the way that in our flesh we really struggle with the idea that like such a great gift can only be received. We want to think there's something I can do. There's something I can do better to set myself up to receive this.
Yeah, sure.
But really it's just a gift. Psalm 127:2, he gives to his beloved sleep. He gives it.
Which is the center of the whole song.
It's the center of the song.
Yeah.
And as we know with the structure of Hebrew poetry, the center point is most important.
Yeah.
And in Psalm 127, that's the part. He gives to his beloved sleep. So there's theological significance in that.
Yeah. So what you're talking about, if I'm hearing you right, is not just sleep as a common grace that God gifts to everyone under the sun.
Yeah.
But you're developing a theology of sleep that almost goes beyond common grace, that it points us towards saving grace. So when you're talking, it reminds me of, my early days as a Christian and 14 years old and coming out of a pit of despair. And Jesus saves me in an altar call. And so it's pretty smooth sailing the first couple months. But after a while, I fell into this anti-gospel. I got to earn this.
Yeah.
And so if I sin, I need to say, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll never do it again. And it was almost like Martin Luther beating his own back bloody or sitting 6 hours a day in the confessional booth or doing these silly acts of penance, or it could be praying a Hail Mary. Whereas the point of the gospel is its unearnability. Yeah. And so sleep.
And uncontrollability too. Like even like the circumstances of your salvation.
Yeah.
Like as good Calvinists, we believe it's like the Spirit's initiative when he wants, where he wants.
Yeah.
He will regenerate us,
I love that. So we were talking about, there's common grace. God gives it to all people.
Yeah.
That includes science.
Yes.
Which is telling us an awful lot about sleep.
Yeah.
And you see science catching up with scriptures like Psalm 127. But I hear you taking it even further and saying saving grace that it points us to where we can't force it. Yeah. And the more you force sleep, the more you're staring at the ceiling till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's a gift that I'm trying to think how you've put it, that it just sleep comes to us in a way that's analogous to the grace of God coming to us. So since it's so hard to hold on to the best news in the universe, that it's not my effort, it's not my performance, it's Christ's performance. Yeah. For anybody listening who's like, I struggle with sleep, with falling asleep, and and I struggle to internalize the gospel. You're building a case. Those
related.
two things are probably deeply related.
Yes.
So talk to us about that and how we can redeem the science of sleep to point people towards how do we actually internalize the gospel?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think one of the questions I started with when I was exploring this as a book is like, why would God create us to do this thing? Sleep, a third of our lives. Like, why? What? It seems illogical. He didn't have to. It seems like a waste.
Yeah.
But he did. And why? And one of my like theories, and I don't know the mind of God, so it's just a theory, but I think that one of the things sleep has the potential to be for us is a nightly built-in kind of gospel teacher in terms of pointing us to higher truths about the nature of our ultimate salvation being a thing we receive, not achieve. And it's also just a built-in check of our pride, which is often the biggest obstacle to our receiving grace. We think we want to earn it. We think we have to earn it. We think it's our contribution matters.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why people struggle to sleep often stems from a little bit of that. Like, sure, it's more important for the world that I'm awake more. Like, surely it's more important for me to be productive.
I am so important.
I'm so important.
What I do in my waking hours means so much to the shape of the future.
Yeah.
How dare I deprive the world of my presence?
How dare I deprive the world of getting through my to-do list, doing more with, more hours. But ultimately choosing sleep, even when our flesh is saying the world needs me to be awake, like my family needs me to be providing more, I need to be doing more.
Yeah.
Sleep is a choice that signals, no, I actually trust that God's provision matters more than mine. His gift matters more than whatever I can conjure in my waking life. And I'm just going to receive that, and I'm going to surrender to sleep, and I'm going to work hard when I wake up, and I'm going to work hard in my waking hours, but I'm going to stop and sleep because I know that God's got this. And I love Psalm 121. I quoted a few times in the book, but just that idea that he who keeps you neither slumbers nor sleeps. Like, God is awake, so you don't have to be all the time. Like, what a relief. Like, what a liberating truth. And so, for the person struggling with sleep, I would think about that connection and his total sovereignly keeping watch over your life, over your coming and going.
You mentioned, sorry to cut you off, but you mentioned how let's call it the olden days. Sleep was dangerous because it's like a thief could come in,
so much
animals
could
come in, the plague could come in, all this stuff.
Yes.
And so there's a sense in which sleep that maybe we appreciate it less with all the comforts of modern living. And we can be in an air-conditioned room with an alarm system in a house or something like that. So go a little deeper for us, because I think that was one of my main takeaways from reading it was to be able to sleep well, just like you're not going to sleep well if you have the mindset that's against the gospel. I got to earn it. So I need to sleep, force myself to sleep. Not going to work. It has to be received passively in a deep sense from the grace of God. So connect those dots, how not pretending you're sovereign, which is a problem I struggle with. Most of my students struggle with.
We all do.
Most people with a pulse struggle with. I can be the sovereign Lord of my universe. And so how might breaking the delusion of our self-sovereignty help us fall asleep better?
I mean, I think the reality of like centuries past is important because sleep historically has been fraught with peril. It is a time of deep vulnerability. It always has been for humans. Like, you needed to trust in God, like as a practical like survival strategy. Like the old medieval prayers, now I lay me down to sleep.
I pray the Lord my soul to keep.
It wasn't just like a cute little poem. It was like a necessity for getting through the night. You needed the Lord's protection. And we're a nerd to that today because of like creature comforts and, climate controlled houses and security systems. But there's still a lot that can go wrong. And I think one interesting statistic I came across in the research for this book is that like the most common time of death is still like the darkest time of night, like 4 a.m. Like when you're in the deepest kind of sleep, like the veil between life and death is thinnest. In that kind of deepest stage of like sleep. And so you can still die in your sleep from a million different causes.
Yeah.
We still need the Lord's protection. And I think it's good for us to remember that, to go into sleep just being very aware of our contingency and our fragility and the way that we have to rely on God's mercy. And every time we wake up in the morning, we should have the conscious thought of like, I'm only waking up by the grace of God. Like, I think sometimes we wake up and just take it for granted that that's just a given, but it's not. Like any given day, and maybe this is getting truer for me as I age. I'm in my 40s now, and my body, some things are starting to like, decay a little bit, and I'm more aware than ever that like I don't take it for granted that like I have another day of life. Like I wake up in the morning, I get to be with my family, I get to love them, and they get to love me. And I think that new morning mercies phrase that's kind of cliched in Christian circles is actually very true. Like every morning, every sunrise that you get to experience is a total gift.
Yeah.
We don't deserve it. We didn't earn it.
Yeah.
But it's a gift. And we made it through the night. We made it through the death of sleep. And that's a whole
death of sleep.
And that's a whole other parallel with like Christian theology. Like sleep is an image of death. Waking up is an image of resurrection. And nightly we rehearse that. And
so sleep as a liturgy that bakes into our cell at the cellular level, the good news of death and resurrection. I've never heard that. It's until reading.
Yeah. I mean, that was also one of those like unlocking a lot moments when I kind of thought about just the image of sleep being such an image of death. Like it looks like death.
Yeah.
You're flat, you're catatonic, basically you're paralyzed. You're in another place consciously in a mysterious realm that science is still, not totally sure what's going on there. You look like a corpse. In some of the research that I did, I tried to find like ancient Christian writing, like early church fathers writing about sleep. And the correlation with sleep and death is like an age-old correlation. Sleep was the brother of death in the ancient world. In Greek mythology, they were two siblings of like the goddess of night. Sleep and death were brothers.
Wow.
They're that close.
Then you get to the New Testament and find like, they've fallen asleep.
Right. That's how dead people are referred to. Those who have fallen asleep.
Yeah.
So I think God designed sleep, this is my theory, as like a nightly reminder of our death, our mortality.
Wow.
That we are dead in our sin. There's no hope for us physically, life after death, and spiritually.
Yeah.
And yet, when you wake up in the morning, there an image shifts to this hope that we can have of new life from the death of sleep by grace, by mercy. And that's another connection with the science of sleep that's really cool, is that you can't wake yourself up. Like this science is clear that there's not like a conscious like trigger mechanism where you in your dreams can be like, wake up.
Yeah.
It's an external grace that has to like wake you up.
Wow.
Whether it's an alarm clock or your spouse waking you up, like it has to be an external thing that wakes you up. And how similar is that to our spiritual state? Like none of us can wake ourselves up spiritually. It has to be this external hand of God that helps us to new life. And so when you wake up in the morning, I just think it's a good thought to just think about it as a reminder of the grace we've been given, the mercy we've been given, and the hope that we have that one day, we'll wake up in eternal life.
Wow.
The sunrise that never sets,
Yeah. So sleep isn't just another iteration of the gospel, dying, rising, in a way that, as you're talking, so many light bulbs are turning on, like baptism, like my new identity is in the death and the resurrection of Jesus.
Yeah.
And there's a parallel there between falling asleep and waking up.
Yeah.
that these are liturgies that can help
Yeah.
us internalize the gospel.
Yeah.
So let me share just a quick story.
Yeah.
And I'll be sensitive to your time. I know we've got a couple minutes left, but
Mm-hmm.
I had a student at Biola,
Mm-hmm.
used to work at Biola. I work at Biola. We have a long Biola history.
Yeah.
And I had this student, we were teaming up on a video project together. And I was sitting next to him as he was working, and I looked at his laptop and it had a calendar up,
Mm-hmm.
color coded. Like every minute of every day was booked solid with like 12 noon to 12:05, use restroom. Like
that
next level.
Gen Z love their Google Calendar.
Yes. There's some structure there, and that can be a good thing, but this was clearly a good thing becoming an ultimate thing, which becomes then a destructive thing.
Yes.
And so he sort of opened up to me and said, like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I feel like I have so much on my plate. I'm trying to get my Biola degree. I'm trying to launch my videography business. I have a girlfriend. I'm trying to maintain my friendships. Yeah. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to like all the things.
Yeah.
And I challenged him. I said, in the 10 Commandments, it's not a divine suggestion. It's a divine command to rest.
Yes.
So I said, you're going to Sabbath this weekend and not do anything but enjoy God's graces.
Yeah. It's good.
No output.
Yeah.
Calls me the next Monday. He's like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I'm sure he struggled with that.
He's like, I did 5 minutes of rest, and I was like,
you can't just turn that on. Like,
and so we started to pray, like, look, I'm big on the mortification of sin by John Owen and Romans 8:13, by the Spirit put to death the deeds of the sin nature.
Yeah.
And what we came to realize was it wasn't like I'm breaking a commandment, thou shalt not rest. Like that's one analysis of it. But the more he struggled with it, because he was taking one of my theology classes, I said, hey man, we've been going through the sovereignty of God. Does your heart actually believe that as you're juggling work, 16 units at Biola, girlfriend, as you're juggling all this, do you actually believe the doctrine of God's sovereignty we've been talking about for the last 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Such that you believe God is actually powerful enough to keep all these balls in the air while you go catatonic when you die for the next 8 hours.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. You don't believe God is as sovereign as Scripture teaches.
Absolutely.
And so for our listeners, as we wrap up here, do you have any practical, somebody's watching, they're like, my sleep schedule is terrible. I'm off the map. Like, do you have any just sort of go-to tips for people? Because the story I just shared was that problems to sleep are usually indicative of a deeper spiritual problem. This deeper sick root is I don't really believe God is a sovereign. So I'm going to try to fill those infinite shoes. So it doesn't work. So any closing thoughts, tips for folks struggling in this area, other than read your awesome book?
Or read my book and Matthew Walker's book, because he has a lot of practical tips. So there's that level. I can make sure you're doing all the practical things to get good sleep. Yeah. Because
good 1-2 punch.
You'd be surprised how many people who struggle with sleep that working out at 11 p.m. at night doesn't help you sleep well, and like drinking coffee,
What about falling asleep to a screen? I know a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, that's what most of us do these days. And it's no wonder that sleep around the world is on the decline. Like there's a global sleep epidemic.
Wow.
And I think a big part of that is just technology and screens. So of course there's a correlation there.
Sure.
Like if you're scrolling on your screen, the last thing you do before you go to bed, your sleep's not going to be great. For a lot of reasons. There's the physiological light part. Trigger the light kind of confuses your brain. Is it nighttime? Is it daylight? But I think the bigger part, and the research is clearer here, is that the content of what you're scrolling most of the time is so anxiety inducing, doom scrolling, or it's just so disconnected. It's like fragmentary information. And this is getting at scrolling ourselves to death, some of what we talked about in that book.
Sure.
That your brain doesn't know how to process it. Yeah. And a lot of what dreaming is doing is processing all the inputs of the day and trying to make sense of that, which 200 years ago was a struggle for human brains.
I've heard you say it's sort of like a mental cleanse.
It's a mental
That's
cleanse.
One of the theories of dreams.
It's mental, like
purging your
organization. It's like kind of like putting the daily inputs into the right file cabinets, kind of making sense of where they fit. So you can imagine that, like, if your brain is confronted with all this like random information in the last moments of your day, it's going to go into sleep and dreams, like kind of like overstimulated.
I've actually, I got to throw this in. I've like fallen asleep to an episode of The Office or something.
Yeah.
And in my dream, like I'm in the office.
Yeah.
And it's kind of awesome in a way of just like,
that's probably a good
hanging
thing
out with Jim and Dwight, and Jim and I are coming up with a new plot to, Dwight and stuff like that.
Yeah. That gets at like one of the big principles that I try to like touch on in the book in terms of advice for good sleep, and just be a good steward of the inputs coming into your brain and the kind of the last stretch of your day.
Yeah.
Because it really does set the course for your sleep and your dreams.
Yeah.
So just use common sense. Like, don't watch horror movies at 10 p.m. right before bed. Don't listen to a true crime podcast or something. Like, you're going to have troubled sleep. So do things like read scripture, read like enjoyable, fiction, things that are just going to calm you down mentally and actually like transition you to sleep in a place of like gratitude to God. Like that's one thing that I've tried to do practice wise as I've been writing this book, is like, I try to like go to bed and like lay down and just spend the last mental like moments of my day just rehearsing kind of what I'm grateful for to God, thanking Him, and then praying prayers of protection over my dreams, over my kids' dreams, and then, whatever anxious thoughts I have about tomorrow. We all have that. Yeah. Just pray for that. And I think you can't go wrong there. Just spending your last mental moments just like in prayer and kind of giving your sleep to God, right? Who gave it to you. Yeah. Surrender it to Him as an act of gratitude for receiving the gift. Like Psalm 127, He gives His beloved sleep. So that's what I would say, in addition to all the practical things. Don't have caffeine, don't drink alcohol at night, don't, sleep with room darkening shades, make sure your room is dark. All those things matter as well. But I think there's a mental stewardship that is really important. And we live in an age of technological anxiety where our minds are just very troubled and burdened because of what comes across our phones. And so that's why I wrote this book now. Like, sleep, the wisdom of sleep, so much of the principles in the book are timeless, but I think right now in our culture, sleep is especially fraught. Because of just our technological moment optimization.
I would imagine, just thinking out loud here, that as you've seen the rise of expressive individualism, which is the follow your heart worldview.
Yeah, you've written something about that.
A little something about that here and there. And the lie, the root of follow your heart is the original lie of Genesis 3:5. Like, I can be like God, knowing good and evil, meaning, I go into this in greater depth elsewhere, but I'm the sovereign meaning maker. As that worldview has trended really since the 60s in America, was a major turn towards the turn inward. And you see, rates of depression and anxiety skyrocketing. You see marriages imploding. You see prison rates. Like, we've run the experiments.
Right. Hasn't gone well.
We tried being our own deities. It's like the old Babylon Bee headline. One of their original headlines had Adam and Eve in the image, and it said, couple decides to follow heart, billions dead. Right? It's just classic Babylon Bee of when we pretend we're sovereign lords, things don't go well. And so to connect those dots between expressive individualism is the latest iteration of the oldest lie in the book. And so any listeners out there, and you're like, man, I just can't sleep, maybe wrestle with that question of, am I trying to be sovereign? Because the sweetest sleep I've ever known is when I'm sort of resting in the Father's arms. It's like You're my father. You're not sleeping while I am.
Right.
You're running the show. I don't have to keep all these balls juggling.
Yeah.
I can fall asleep and trust you to keep all those balls in the air.
Right.
And
relax in the sovereignty of God. Like,
relax. I love that.
I heard that phrase recently, and I just have run with it. Like, just relax in the sovereignty of God. Like, it's easier said than done, but if you can do that, and I've tried to like practice that in my life, I've got a lot that can make me anxious. I'm a dad of 4. I got a full on job. Like
you were saying with you,
like,
you have a young
we have a baby. He's
so the book on sleep.
Yeah,
it's releasing during the time, and you're probably getting the least amount. So you cherish the gift maybe more than you would have.
I cherish it. I think it has made the gift of sleep when it goes well just the sweetest thing.
Yeah,
like when you're a parent of little babies and you actually wake up, look at the clock, and it's like 7 a.m. and you didn't wake up.
Yeah,
the baby didn't wake up. Like that is the most beautiful like picture of like grace.
Yeah,
and it's like so. Yeah, I think. The reason I wrote this book now probably has a lot to do with my life stage.
Yeah, that's so great. Well, if none of what we just said works and you struggle with sleep, pick up the wisdom of sleep because it'll put you to sleep
in the best way.
It'll put you to sleep in the best way. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. I love what you do. I love how to land where we took off. How you take it's just your not quirk, but like idiosyncrasy. I'm trying to find a not pejorative word, like your unique calling, your lane, to take good, solid, gospel-centered theology, and then in service to the church, write books about scrolling ourselves to death. Write books about being uncomfortable and finding community. Writing books about what we do with a third of our lives. So thanks, brother. Thanks for joining me in the Shed and Beam. I hope to have you back soon.